This is a Crack House Chronicles production.
Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that says, nothing ruins a Friday night like realizing it's Saturday night. It's Dale.
Ain't that the damn truth?
Yeah.
Man, I thought I had an extra day.
Yeah,
What's
you just
going
sitting
on?
around and, oh man, it's Friday night. Oh no, it's Saturday night.
Or worse is when you're having a really good time and you realize it's Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, no good.
not good at all.
Just start shutting her down, get ready to get up and go to salt mines.
Yeah, I know. It just ruins your whole weekend.
I'm telling you.
What's going on today, dude?
You know, same old, same old.
Same old, same old. We're back in here doing an episode.
Man, why ain't we doing one today?
Man, we got it's rough.
Ooh.
But you got any good shout outs anybody want to talk about before we get
What are
going?
you talking about? We got them stacked up like cordwood over here.
Cordwood.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a brand new Apple Podcast 5-star review, and this comes in from Carol Michaela, or as I know her, Michaela.
Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is love, love, love y'all with a
Wow.
whole bunch of exclamation
Wow.
points. All right, let's see if I can read this. I had the pleasure of serving Dale the other day at my job at Boardwalk Billy's, and him and his buddy, which is Mondo, shout out Mondo, were a great company and amazing and funny people. Near the end of their experience, Dale asked me if I like true crime, and I love true crime. So when he told me that he had a podcast, I got so excited. And she did. She was all giddy and stuff. Anyway, I always wanted to meet someone who has a true crime podcast, and I finally have. And after listening to a few podcasts, I have to tell y'all, you are my favorite.
Wow.
The way y'all tell the stories with some humor is the best, and honestly, my favorite thing to listen to going to and from work. Thank y'all for what y'all do.
Wow. I'm glad we can entertain her going to and from work.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela. If you guys go down to Boardwalk Billy's, and that is in Charlotte, it's kind of like behind the Hilton University place there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really cool place. We go there when we go down there to the wrestling convention. Right, every year we eat there. But she was a great server and did a fantastic job. So go in and ask for Michaela. She was very cool. I gave her some stickers and you thought I'd give her a new car.
Yeah.
I said, you can give them to your friends unless you want to hog them. She said, I'm a hogger.
That's right.
Kept them all.
Kept all the stickers.
Yeah, very cool. And a friend of mine, Dave King, he came by as we were sitting there, and he did take a picture. So there is a photo of me, Michaela, and Mondo. And then if she'll shoot us a message or something, I'll post it, but I won't do it unless she says it's all right. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
But anyway, it was a cool experience, and thanks, Michaela. Appreciate that, and thanks so much for taking the time to give us a 5-star review and listening to the thing and sharing us with the world down there at the Boardwalk Billy's.
Appreciate it so much. But if anybody else wants to be like Michaela and go to the Apple Podcast and leave a 5-star rate and review, you can, and we'll give you a big old shout out.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, we sure will. And other than that, Dale, we're going to get into this episode. Man, we got a crazy one. This one's rough.
Do we have to?
Yeah, if, we can stop it right here and just be done, but no, this...
We just end up with that 5-star and roll on.
Yeah, just...
But it wouldn't be near as cringeworthy, would it?
No.
Hope y'all ready.
All right. We'll be back after this short break. All right, Dale, we are back.
We are back.
And, dude, we are going up to Baraboo, Wisconsin.
The frozen tundra.
Oh, man. What do you know about Baraboo, Wisconsin? Your wife's from up that area.
Yeah, she's about an hour and a half out of there, I think. I don't know a lot about it. I've never been there, but I know it is home to Circus World.
Yeah. The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus was out of that place.
Ain't that cool?
Yeah, that was their headquarters.
Wow. Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
That would just be a reason to go to Baraboo.
Right now, in this Circus World place is like a museum. They have all this old stuff and circus stuff and lots of circus wagons and all kind of stuff I was reading on it. It's pretty neat. Pretty
Yeah.
neat. I'd love to go check it out.
Oh, I'd love to go up there and see all that stuff, man.
Kim keeps talking about making a trip up there sometime when it's cold. Yay.
Yeah.
You know me and the cold. But anyway, she wants to go up there and do a snowmobile tours.
Yeah.
Because they used to do that, because that's where she's from. So it's big fun. You just go out and they ride trails and stuff. So she wanted to plan a trip to go do that. So we may end up doing that sometime.
Sounds good. But we are talking today.
A lot less fun than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This can be rough. But we are talking today about a guy by the name of Thad Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Thaddeus Phillips, but he went by Thad.
That's a cool name. Man.
Yeah. And just a little bit more on Thad. Him and his family, they had moved to Baraboo from another location. They had just actually been in this home that they were living in not too long, maybe a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And
the reason we don't tell you anymore is it's all over the place from out of state to 10 miles down the road. So we're not sure.
We're just going to leave it at that.
Right.
They had moved into a new home in Baraboo. And Thad had started a new school, and they had just been living there for a couple of weeks, like we said. But this story we're talking about starts on July the 29th of 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when Thad and his family, his dad was Donald Phillips, and his mom was Connie Phillips. But the whole family, they went out for dinner. And then they returned home, and they was going to watch a movie in the living room and just chill out.
I wonder if it was old VHS.
I don't know. Maybe on TV or probably on the VHS. But later that evening, Thad's parents, they decided to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But they left Thad and his sister. They wanted to stay up and watch TV a little bit more. And Thad had actually ended up falling asleep on the couch in the living room.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, even his little sister.
Yeah.
And it was just
I think she was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was considerably younger than him because Thad was only 13.
Right.
Yeah. But going into the night, Thad, he had woke up off the couch. And he had woke up to someone picking him up off the couch.
Man, I remember them days.
Yeah. And carrying him away. And, he was half asleep.
Right.
And at first he thought that it was his dad picking him up and carrying him up to bed.
Well, of course, you're in your house, you're sleeping on your own couch. What else you going to think?
Yeah, because I've done that to my kids many times.
Oh, yeah.
Pick them up and carry them to bed.
Yeah, they never even budge. Don't even know it.
Yeah, it's like time travel. But as Thad was being picked up and carried, he rubbed his eyes and he looked up at the person holding him, and he realized that he didn't know this person.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And the guy that he was looking at was an older teenage boy.
Yes.
And he didn't recognize him, like we said.
It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. But later, it would be revealed that this boy that he was looking at, his name was Joe Clark.
By the way, old Joe Clark.
And he was a 17-year-old older kid who lived in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
Now, this Joe Clark, he carried Thad outside of his home and then put him down. And
so he just walked in this dude's house and picked him up and carried him outside?
Yeah. And he seemed friendly enough and asked Thad if he could follow him to his car because he was having some troubles getting it started. And, Thad, he was still half asleep and still, I guess, a little bit disoriented.
I guess we have no idea what time this was, do we?
No, it was in the middle of the night.
Right. I was wondering how long he had been asleep when this happened.
Yeah. But he really didn't think twice about it, and he actually followed Joe down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And the two boys, they walked about a half a mile from where Thad and his family lived. And when they arrived, what it looked like was a rundown home. And this Joe Clark, he kind of switched his gears a little bit, and he sort of changed the topic of the broken down car, and he told Thad to follow him in the house. And he also told Thad that he had planned to throw a party pretty soon and was going to invite several other boys from the school. Now, Thad, he recognized some of these names that Joe was saying to him that was going to come to this party.
Okay, so even though he's probably going, what in the hell's going on, he realizes he's a few names here I know, so maybe I made him feel better about it. You think?
Maybe, and thinking this is legit.
Instead of just running like heck going home. This is just weird.
Yeah. So even though this Thad, he was still slightly confused as to what was going on. He followed Joe into the house, figuring this was maybe an opportunity to meet some new people from school and make some new friends since he was new to the area.
Well, and they're both kids, right?
Yeah.
So,
And at this point, Thad, he wasn't fearful or anything like that.
Right.
But
he didn't have any, I was going to say he didn't have no need to, but I guess if somebody, and I would have to say that the dude broke in the house, right? Because I'm sure mom and dad didn't leave the doors unlocked when they went to bed.
No.
So, yeah, weird. Go ahead.
But like we said, this house was a wreck. It was in shambles. Everything was dirty. There were clothes all over the place, dishes everywhere, food left on the plates and dishes. It was just a mess.
He's probably thinking, honey, you're going to throw a party in there.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's going to have a party to get somebody to come over and clean up.
Right.
But as they were walking through this wreck of a house, Thad, he sort of get a little bit apprehensive about what was going on.
Yeah.
But this Joe Clark, he maintained his friendliness, and he actually asked Thad to go up to his room and check out some of his model cars that he had collected.
Yeah, and I think in one interview, Thad, I think even said that he was into model cars and baseball cards and that kind of stuff, and this is everything that he started talking about. So he was like, well, maybe it ain't that bad. We'll go check them out.
Yeah. So they sat down on the bed, and they were looking at these model cars and different things, and this is when Joe's eyes, according to Thad, went dark.
Great white shark.
Yeah, and he pushed Thad down on this dirty bed and grabbed his right ankle. And he began to twist his ankle in an unnatural position until the bones shattered and splintered.
Yeah, and his foot was backwards.
Yeah. He had done broke his ankle. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, going, hey, check out my model car. And then, by the way, here your foot's backwards.
Yeah, he just completely done a 180 on him and broke his ankle.
For no reason.
But now this Joe, he was a lot larger than Thad, even though he's just a few years older. The difference between 17 and 13, it's only a few years, but the growth.
He's a big Wisconsin country boy.
Yeah.
I think he said he's almost twice the weight and a good bit taller.
Yeah. But since Joe was a lot more larger than Thad, he knew he had to get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
So he jumped off the bed and tried to get away, hobbling down the stairs with a shattered ankle.
Yeah, he said that after he broke his ankle, he kind of got this weird look coming over him, like he was dazed a little bit or something. And I guess he was enjoying what he just did. And while he was kind of distracted, that's why when he took off down trying to get out of the house.
Yeah.
But he had to go down those steps, remember?
Yeah, and Thad was able to get past the living room, and Joe was right behind him.
Yeah, down the step, through the living room, and almost to the kitchen.
With a broken, splintered ankle.
With a foot sticking backwards.
Yeah.
I mean backwards, dude.
And as they...
that just kills me.
Yeah.
Thinking of that.
So as they reached the kitchen, Joe grabbed him from behind and dragged him to the couch in the living room.
I bet he had them black eyes again.
And that's where he continued to brutalize Thad. And Joe looked infuriated that Thad had even attempted to escape.
Right.
And he even took this anger out on Thad's right leg. He pushed the leg up towards Thad's head, putting the entire weight on the leg until he heard the thigh bone snap.
Can you imagine that?
No.
You know how much pressure it takes to break a damn thigh bone?
The femur?
That's the biggest, strongest bone in your body.
It'd take a lot of pressure to break that bone.
I looked it up, and it's kind of hard to tell because it gives it in. It's spelled in Newtons, like newtons, but not like the city Newton. But it's weird. And it took like 4,000 of those. I'm like, what is that? But from what I read, it was like 900 pounds of pressure or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how he could to build that much pressure. I guess he just knew how to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But good Lord, that's awful.
But Joe breaking this bone, it seemed to satisfy him. Because as soon as he had broken this bone and gotten enraged, he sort of returned to his friendly disposition.
Oh, okay, buddy.
And I guess it was terrifying how quickly he could change back and forth from this guy breaking his leg and his ankle to being a friend.
Yeah, and I think, they said that he had been in shock when he broke his ankle. It kind of went into shock.
Probably a lot of...
So that's why, adrenaline flood,
yes.
So when he went down the steps. So really, at this part, he really didn't, I'm sure they say he didn't really feel it, but I'm sure he did. But he could hear it and feel it break, but the pain wasn't there because he was in so much of a shock, I guess.
So Thad...
Adrenaline dump or whatever you call it.
Yeah, so Thad had been incapacitated. And when Joe had calmed down, Thad asked him why he was doing this to him. And Joe just casually said that he enjoyed the sounds of bones breaking.
God almighty.
It was just as simple as that. And then he turned on the television and they began to watch TV. Yeah. And Joe was, talking with Thad as if nothing had happened. And Thad thought this could be his opportunity to get help. And he asked Joe if he could use the phone to call his parents.
While he was in good guy mode.
Yeah. Telling him that they would probably be worried about him, but to his surprise, Joe said yes, and he handed him the phone.
Now, before you get all excited, it's not a cell phone. This is before them days.
Yeah, this is a home landline.
Correct.
Yes. So he handed Thad the phone, and Thad, he frantically began to dial his number. and then realized there was no dial tone. That's when the landlines, they have a dial tone you listen to.
Yes.
If anybody don't know.
They probably don't a lot.
Yeah. And he looked up at Joe and saw that he was just smiling and grinning at him.
Laughing at him because he cut the cord before he handed him the phone.
Man, he was never going to allow Thad to get any help.
No.
And it's like Joe was getting pleasure out of watching him.
This dude's a sadist, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
And then, seemingly out of nowhere, Joe became enraged once again, and he picked Thad up and carried him upstairs to his room, threw him back on the bed, and this is where he now focused on the left leg. He began to twist the left ankle until it shattered.
He's just getting off on this stuff, dude.
And this time, Thad tried defending himself by punching him back, but then told him if he didn't stop fighting, he'd break his back.
Yeah, he told me to break his back or his neck. So he just kind of tried to calm down. He said, I didn't want a broken neck. He knows it's serious.
So Thad just laid there and took the pain. And at this point, the adrenaline, it was probably on overflow.
Oh, it had to be. Shock.
Yeah, he's probably in shock to be able to handle all this.
Had to be. And he's really just basically staying calm besides, a couple times he tried to fight back. But as far as not getting enraged, he's still keeping his wits about him.
Yeah. But going into shock means that your body recognizes your life is in very serious danger, and it isn't allowing you a bit of grace to help you survive what is happening to you. Now, as much as this Joe Clark enjoyed breaking bones, he also, get this, Dale, he liked to fix them so that he could break them once again. And over the course of the next evening, he would alternate between breaking Thad's bones and creating a makeshift bandages and a sling to try to heal Thad's injuries. He would wrap Thad's legs in bandages made of socks.
And he would take socks. He said, like he had a drawer full of white socks, and he put those braces on or whatever, and then the socks on. And he said he would just keep putting the socks on, but they all had to be perfectly put on.
Yeah. Just to try to heal his injuries.
I guess. And then he made him walk around on it.
Yeah, with these braces. He had braces on his legs.
Yeah.
Golly.
Little makeshift casting gimmick, I guess.
And he would actually get Thad up to walk with these braces on his legs, this casting system that he had.
Yeah, and he said, even though the pain was so unbearable, he refused to give Joe the satisfaction of seeing him cry.
Yeah.
This dude
he's a monster, man.
Yeah, and Thad's a badass.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord.
But meanwhile, Thad's parents, back at his home, they woke up to find Thad was gone.
Yeah.
And this was highly unusual because they had just moved into this area, and Thad wasn't particularly familiar with the neighborhood and hadn't really made any friends yet.
Right.
And there wasn't any signs that something nefarious had happened, like signs of a struggle. And the only thing that seemed odd was the kitchen light had been left on when they always turned it off before bed.
Yeah, he was gone, but yet his shoes were still there.
Yeah.
Where he took them off.
Yeah, so that was kind of odd that he would leave without any shoes.
Right.
Yeah. So Thad's parents, they got into their vehicles and they were driving around searching for Thad, completely unaware that he was being held in a home just about a half a mile from where they lived. But they were trying not to panic because the fair was in town that weekend, and I guess they had all kinds of things going through their head, thinking maybe he'd gone to check out the fair.
Went to the fairground, yeah?
Yeah. Even they didn't go door to door.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't do that, which maybe they should have.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
seen an interview with his dad, and that was the one thing that really bothered him. He said, we searched the whole damn town, but the thing I never did was go door to door, and that kind of haunts him.
Yeah. But eventually, they lost hope, and they filed a missing persons report with the police. And the local police told them that they'd be on the lookout for him. But other than that, there wasn't much they could do. There weren't any signs any criminal activity had happened.
To give him the old, I bet he run away story.
Yeah. He was a 13-year-old boy, so they assumed, like you said, he'd run off with some new friends and would just show up later.
They always say that.
Yeah. So back at Joe Clark's house, the nasty house, Thad was lying on the bed with swollen, broken ankles and thighs.
You think?
Oh, yeah. And at times Joe would move to other parts of the house, and he'd hear Joe talking to someone.
Yeah, but nobody was talking back.
Yeah,
So he's like, there's got to be a phone somewhere in his house that works.
yeah. And he had to find it.
So glimmer of hope.
So that evening, Thad, he tried to escape once more. He heard Joe leave his house and get in his car and drive away. So this was his chance. And he knew this might be his only chance. And
Well, heck yeah.
yeah, so Joe had assumed that he had done enough damage to Thad that he wouldn't be likely to escape.
You think?
Yeah. But, you know, he was wrong.
Hmm.
Thad had actually flung himself off the bed and drug his body, with his heavily beaten body with broken legs, toward the stairs. And he knew he wouldn't be able to walk down the stairs, so Dale, he actually just flung himself down the stairs.
Yeah, I'd seen where he said that he first was tried to do like a toddler, you know, like to put his legs first and was going to slide down, but they were just so beat up and wobbly he couldn't do it. So he just ended up, the only way he could do it was just throw himself down the stairs. Can you imagine? Every little bump's going to be killing you, much less throwing yourself down a set of stairs.
And when he reached the landing at the bottom of the steps, he hit so hard that it actually knocked him out for a few moments. And he was weak, man, from both his injuries, from the lack of food and water that had been given to him. And when he came to, he attempted to crawl through the living room and into the kitchen, where he passed out again. And this is when he heard the front door open.
He said, oh no.
Yeah, and Joe and a girl walked in. They sat on the couch in the living room talking, laughing, and making out. And they were completely unaware that Thad was in the kitchen, lying on the floor.
Yeah, in the interview he said that I didn't know what to do. He said, I just thought I'd be as quiet as possible so I didn't make him any madder than it was already going to be.
I know. So eventually this girl that Joe was with, she left. And Joe walked into the kitchen and was shocked to see Thad laying there on the floor.
Oh, I bet.
Man, so once again, he picked Thad up and carried him back up to his room.
And
where
this time was bad.
Oh, yeah, he punished him for trying to escape by holding a pillow over his face. He'd punch him and kicked him and jumped on his chest.
And he was jumping on him with his knees on his chest, like just trying to crush his ribs and stuff. And then also on all those other injuries, and then started just cranking on his ankles and compounding those other injuries, just re-breaking and breaking and just shattering the bones.
Yeah. And then after this, get this, he carried Thad back downstairs so they could watch TV together. Because that's completely normal. And once again, you know, that's what Joe, he was turning from Jekyll to Hyde and back and forth.
This is just crazy, man.
Yeah. But, you know, we have to ask ourselves, too, where was Joe's parents?
I was just fixing to say, didn't his parents live here too?
They did. And we might get into that here in just a little bit.
So I guess they were out of town for the weekend, or
evidently
out of
so.
town sometime or something.
Evidently so.
Okay.
So Thad asked Joe if he had ever done this to anyone else. And Joe said he had, and he'd actually done it twice. And one of the names he gave was some kid named Chris Steiner. And Thad didn't know who Chris was, but he was shocked to hear that he'd actually gotten away with it before.
Right. And then he said he really couldn't remember the other kid's name. I think Joe did tell him he just didn't remember the other kid's name.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah, I mean, Thad was in a lot of pain. I'm surprised he remembered anything.
I can't believe he's doing anything at all. This just blows my mind.
Yeah. So they both fell asleep on the couch. And by the following morning, Thad had been missing for nearly 2 days with all this torture going on.
Good man. Can you imagine?
Yeah, so Joe picked him up off the couch and carried him back upstairs. And this is when Joe had plans to go to a party. So he continued to twist Thad's already mangled legs to make sure that he couldn't escape while he was away.
Yeah, I'm sure he jumped on him a couple more times.
Yeah.
Smashed him up good so he couldn't get away.
But one other crazy twist to this deal. During these tortures and bone breakings, between these sessions of him breaking bones, this Joe, he got off on this.
Oh, I know.
This was a turn on for him.
Oh, you mean got off?
Yeah, he got off on it because he would actually masturbate in front of Thad after he broke one of his bones.
So he's a sexual sadist.
Yes.
So this is just, he's getting his jollies, breaking these bones, and then...
This was a sexual gratification for him breaking a bone, and yeah, he got off on it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, standing there and masturbating in front of him.
This poor Thad, man.
Yeah. But this last time when he took Thad upstairs, he was doing all this other stuff to him to make sure that he wasn't going to be able to escape.
Right, really mangle him up good this time, so
Yeah.
you're not getting away.
Yeah, even after he mangled him up some more, he put him in the closet and locked the door.
Yeah, and I seen one thing where it said he kind of wrapped him up with an ace bandage, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, and this closet, it actually had a lock on the outside.
Right.
So he locked him in there. And he wouldn't even take any chances of Thad escaping.
Yeah, with a bunch of damn trash bags and stuff in the closet.
Oh, yeah, they ain't gonna tell him what was in them trash bags. But this is when Joe got into his car and he left. And Thad, he'd already tried and failed to escape 3 times. And his body was getting rough.
Oh, I'm sure.
He'd endured over 40 hours of horrific abuse, and his legs were completely shattered, Dale. His legs were purple, blue, swollen, and mangled, and didn't look human anymore.
No, and he said the longer he sat in that closet, the more pain. They was just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. So
I can imagine you can probably all kind of heartbeats in them things.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine, dude, because I've broken a bone before.
And throbbing.
Oh, yeah. And Thad got to looking around the closet, try to find something to be able to help him get out of this closet.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually found an old guitar.
Right.
And he grabbed it.
Electric guitar.
Yeah, and once he picked it up, with every little bit of energy he had left, he banged on this closet door and trying to get this door open with this guitar.
Yeah, he started smashing it into the closet door.
Yeah, and eventually got the door open.
I think he didn't he bust a hole in it enough to where he could reach around and get the lock out from the outside? Because I wasn't sure if he busted the whole door open enough to crawl through the hole or just open the door, which...
Probably be able to manipulate the lock.
Yeah, probably that, because it'd be much easier to get out the door in his condition.
Yeah. So Thad, once again, dragged himself out of the bedroom, over the stairs, and once again threw himself down the stairs.
Yeah, didn't even hesitate, because he knew he
had to get out.
He had to get out.
And he crawled through the living room into the kitchen, where there was a corded phone on the wall. They had a phone on the wall that had a cord.
Luckily,
yes.
It was one of those long cords. You know how you used to get on the phone and you could talk and walk halfway through the house.
Yeah.
Cord to get private conversation.
And another thing about this phone, when he was able to get it off the receiver, the dial pad was on the handheld part.
Yeah, a slimline phone.
Yeah. So the phone hit the floor, and thank God, he had a dial tone.
Yeah, you think about it, man. If the keypad or the rotary, whichever one it was on the part where you hang it up, he'd been in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could be able to get to it. But luckily, it was on the handset.
Yeah, so he was able to lay there on the floor.
No.
He called 911.
Yes. And
the operator who answered thought it was a joke at first because how calm Thad was.
Yeah.
He told him his name, that he was being held at Joe Clark's home. And the police were familiar with Joe because they'd had some run-ins with him in the past.
Right.
So they knew exactly where to go.
Right. Even though he didn't know and they were tracing it, they were already on their way.
Yeah. And the police got to the home and...
I saw one detective, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he said, when that came through and I was listening to it, he said, he better not be joking. This better not be a prank. And when they pulled up, they realized it was all too real.
Yeah, they found Thad lying on the kitchen floor, and they were shocked to see the condition of his body, Dale.
Ooh.
His feet were nearly completely turned around, and his legs were twisted back in just an unnatural position. But Thad was put into an ambulance and sent to the hospital.
Yeah, lucky they got there when they did.
Yeah, because the doctors, they told him that he was just hours away from dying.
Yeah. With all that blood loss and everything from them fractures in his, in his thighs and all, it's just lucky he didn't accept it.
Yeah, Thad had been held for about 43 hours of pure torture. He sustained several fractures to both of his legs and needed several surgeries.
He had a broken hip, too.
Yeah, even over the years. He had a lot of damage.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it was a miracle that he didn't have further damage.
He was lucky he didn't die.
I know. So after Thad got out of surgery, he was able to tell the police about 2 other people Joe had admitted to hurting.
Yes.
He couldn't remember the name of the first kid, but the second kid, he just remembered that it was a Chris S.
Yeah, and the story behind that, he was telling his dad while they were in the hospital about it, and his dad went and got a phone book. And they started going through the S last names until they got to Steiner, and he goes, that's it.
But it turned out to be The one they were talking about was a 14-year-old boy, Chris Steiner. But the police would find and arrest Joe Clark while he was still at that party. And when they got there, he seemed to be completely unfazed. And when they arrested him, the first words out of his mouth were, "Oh, he's still alive?"
God almighty.
Yeah.
So he knew he didn't have long to live when he beat the hell out of him that last time, locked him in the closet. He figured that was it.
Yeah. He'd done killed him. He was going to die in that closet, and when he got back, he could just get rid of him.
Right.
Yeah. So they took Joe to the police station while they searched his home.
You know, what gets me, and I know this is kind of off subject, but being his parents lived there, at least his mother, I never heard nothing about the dad, but the mother, how is this house such a damn mess?
I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. But they did take Joe to the police station. They were searching his home while he was there. And while they were in the home, they found a list of 29 names on 3 sheets of paper. Under the categories on these 3 sheets of paper, one of them was get to know.
And then it had a list of names under it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another list was labeled can wait,
Okay.
with a list of names. And the third sheet of paper was leg thing, with a list of names under it.
That's the one you don't want to be on.
No.
Because I'm assuming what Thad got here is the leg thing.
Yeah. And he denied trying to kill Thad Phillips, instead saying he just wanted to hang out.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, it's easy just, I'm going to go break into somebody's house because I want to kidnap them and hang out.
Yeah. And he's saying that if Thad had, sustained any injuries, well, he didn't know much about that because he had blacked out.
Really? How convenient.
Very, very convenient.
God.
But the police also wanted to investigate Joe's connection to this Chris Steiner, the one that Thad remembered him talking about.
Right.
This 14-year-old local boy. And this Chris Steiner, he had been found drowned in a river.
Yeah, like a year before, almost to the day.
Yeah, this was on July the 14th of 94. And this 14-year-old Chris Steiner, just getting into him, he decided to go to bed early this night before because he was getting ready to start a new job.
Well, he started a new job that day and he had worked. Well, at least from what we can understand, that was maybe his first day or one of the first days. And he had came home and he was just wore out, so he was going to go to bed early.
He was working at McDonald's.
Correct.
He was working with his older brother.
Correct.
He had an older brother, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his brother Jim had got him this job at McDonald's. And he was actually excited about it because he was making money and he was actually figuring up how much money he can make on the weekends if he worked over and done some stuff.
Worked in weekends and holidays.
Yeah.
So maybe being 14, maybe that's only was working weekends and holidays or something.
Could be.
Because 14 is kind of young, especially, well, from around here anyway. But, yeah, he was really excited and wore out. And actually, when his parents went in to check on him that night around 10 o'clock, he was laying on the bed asleep, still wearing his uniform.
Yeah.
But went back in the next morning because he had to be at work at 8 the next morning, so they had arranged a wake-up call at 6:15. So he went in there and flipped on the light, and he was gone.
Yeah, Chris wasn't there. But unlike Thad's case, there was some evidence of foul play in Chris's disappearance. The screen window located on the ground floor bedroom had been slashed.
Yeah, and it was like cut almost all the way down the left-hand side and across the bottom.
Yeah.
So not just a little hole.
And this was Chris's older brother's room, Jim's room. But Jim wasn't at home that night. He had actually stayed over at a friend's house.
Right.
But it looked like someone had actually slashed a screen and climbed in. And there were also some muddy footprints found outside the window and inside the home. And the ground floor patio doors were also discovered unlocked. But Chris's parents were sure that they had locked them before they went to bed. And because, Chris being a young teen boy, the initial assumption, again, was that he had snuck out to go to a party or hang out with some friends.
Well, it was 4th of July, so
Yeah.
I guess they're leaning that way.
Yeah, especially because of all that. And the police thought that he could have been another teenage runaway.
Always.
But Chris's parents knew that wasn't true. He wasn't the type to do that. He'd just gotten this great job, and he was excited about having this job and
Right.
making some money. But 6 days after Chris went missing, there was a body that was found in the Wisconsin River. And it was draped over a tree, and the body was bloated from being in the water so long and badly decomposed.
Yeah.
But dental records confirmed that it was the body of Chris Steiner.
Yeah, and the sad part about this story, well, I mean, there's a lot of sad part, but this little part here that when they were looking for him for over a week and they're looking everywhere, and the detectives came up to the house and knocked on it, and they didn't bring good news or bad news, but they came up and they said they just want to know if they had any dental records.
You know, that ain't good at all.
You know that ain't good.
Mm-mm. With this autopsy being conducted, they didn't find any traumatic injuries on his body.
Right.
Because his death was listed as a drowning.
It was a drowning.
Yeah. But
even though it was categorized as undetermined, but it was also listed as drowning.
yeah.
Yeah.
His parents felt like someone killed Chris, but there wasn't any other reason he would be found drowned in the river like that. But then they even, started searching this bank. Maybe there'd been a party there, seeing some kind of remnants of a bonfire or something or anything like that. But there'd been a big rain and it washed all that stuff away.
Right, yeah, and they thought, maybe we don't know where he went in. Maybe he went off, like you said, with a bunch of kids and whatever, couldn't find him. But they couldn't find anything, so they pretty much just closed his case with the drowning.
Yeah.
With no foul play. I'm like, wait a damn minute, what about the screen cut open and the footprints? None of that makes any sense. How can you just close the case?
Yeah. But when they started asking around town for any information, there was one name that kept coming up, and it was Joe Clark.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe's mother swore up and down that her son was home with her at the time. But without any actual evidence to connect Joe to Chris's death, they couldn't move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, therefore, they just closed the case.
Yeah.
What the hell? That don't make any sense at all.
But with this new information that Thad Phillips had, the police asked Chris Steiner's parents for permission to exhume his body, and they agreed.
Oh, yeah.
And they performed a second autopsy, and this time, Dale, it was revealed that Chris's legs and ankles had been broken and shattered, very similar to the injuries that Thad had.
And this really makes me mad. Because you can tell me they done a complete autopsy the first time.
They didn't do no autopsy.
No, they said, he's got water in his lungs.
He drowned.
Sew him back up, we're done.
Yeah.
Had to. There's no way, if his was anything like what Thad went through, they'd been able to tell.
Yeah, they didn't even try. Yeah. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in connection to Thad, Joe Clark was charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide causing great bodily harm to a child, mayhem, which is an intent to disable or disfigure, and causing mental harm to a child, and child enticement. Luring him out of the house to give him something. That's
Hell, it should have been kidnapping. He went in the house and got him. It wasn't like he's standing outside with a bowl of candy going, come on out here.
Yeah, went in there and got him.
Yeah.
But Joe Clark pleaded no contest and not guilty due to mental disease.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And in court, his defense team painted him as a victim of his own right. This Joe Clark, they'd discovered that he had been adopted as a child, but his biological mother abused drugs while she was pregnant with him.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
And Joe Clark also claimed to have suffered from a serious head injury sustained during a bike crash just a year prior to this.
I don't care what they say. Okay, so it's a year earlier. That's the same time that, because that's when Chris Steiner was killed.
Exactly.
Or killed, or God, I didn't even think about that. He was either killed, died in the closet, or did he have him broken up so bad he just went and threw him in the river and he drowned because he couldn't swim?
Probably.
Oh man.
They probably threw him in the river alive.
Yeah.
And he drowned. And that's when they found the water in his lungs.
Right.
Yeah. Joe Clark's adopted mother, Dale, she provided a false alibi for Joe Clark, saying that he was home that night when they went to bed, and that he would have snuck out at any time, she would have heard him.
So, wait a minute. So she made up an excuse for when Chris went missing, and now she's making up a false alibi for when Thad went missing.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So maybe this woman ain't never home. Maybe she's just trying to cover her own ass for not ever being there, and that's why the house is in such disarray.
Oh, yeah.
So she's just out gallivanting around.
Yeah, the house is a shithole, and she ain't there. And
she don't want to get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Abandoning a kid.
God almighty.
But Joe Clark, he was found guilty, Dale, and sentenced to 100 years in prison, so he would die behind bars. And the prosecution, they wanted to continue prosecuting Joe Clark for the murder of Chris Steiner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because his parents, they deserve justice.
Yeah, because they're sitting around for a year going, listen, there ain't no way he drowned. What's going on? My screens were cut open. There's footprints through my house. And then you're just telling me he went out to a party with some friends and drowned because he fell in the river?
Yeah.
Come on. And then they find out he'd been broken up so bad. Yeah, they want justice. They want it bad.
And they even got Thad Phillips, and Thad was going to testify in the trial.
Yeah, he was going to be the star witness because Joe had told him personally that he'd done it.
Yeah, so he was a big witness to all this.
100%.
So just before the trial was scheduled to begin, Dale, there was a 15-year-old. His name was Michael Hoobsch. I guess that's how you pronounce his last name. It's the way you spell it.
It's Huebsch.
Yeah, if anybody knows how to pronounce
Say
that.
it again.
Hoobsch.
Okay.
Hoops. I don't know. But anyway, this 15-year-old Michael, who was friends with Joe Clark and lived next door to him, he took a hunting rifle and shot Thad.
What?
With his hunting rifle. And if this Thad hadn't endured enough with all these injuries and stuff and all these surgeries, the bullet hit Thad in the rear left shoulder. It traveled up his neck and came out near his ear. He was badly injured and hospitalized for days because of this, but was lucky enough to survive another attempt on his life. This Thad survived.
This dude is badass.
Oh,
dude.
Thad is amazing, man.
Resilient.
Yeah, but he was able to recover and testify.
And still went and testified.
Yeah, against Joe Clark, where Joe Clark was charged with first-degree homicide, mayhem, and causing great bodily harm to a child. Joe pleaded not guilty, but was convicted and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for 60 years. And Joe Clark maintained his innocence and attempted to appeal his convictions, but they've all been denied each time.
Well, duh.
Yeah. Now, get this. For what Thad had endured and all this stuff he went through, all these surgeries and all this psychological torture. And
Can you imagine?
yeah, he was awarded $21 million in a civil suit, but unfortunately, he hasn't seen a penny of it. And to this very day, I've seen videos and interviews with Thad Phillips online.
Yeah.
He still lives in pain and walks with a limp.
Oh, I'm sure, dude. He's lucky he's not wheelchair bound.
Exactly.
Was. I mean, the fact that they even saved his life, saved his legs, because I know when they first went in for surgery, it was really questioned whether they should just amputate or not, because they didn't know if they could save him.
I know.
They were busted up and broken so bad.
Yeah, internal bleeding.
I think there's probably screws and rods and poles and all kind of stuff. He'd blow a metal detector up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I can't imagine all the hardware he has in him. But Joe Clark is in prison today, and he's not getting out. And the Michael Hoobsch, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, he got, I think, 12 to 15 years for attempted murder on Thad, trying to keep him from testifying against Joe
crazy,
Clark.
Man.
Yeah, I know. But we're going to get into just a little bit on Thad, a little bit more on his injuries, Dale.
Okay.
I mean, it's just
like
not,
it ain't. We
I
ain't hurting enough yet.
But we're going to describe some of his injuries. His ankles were snapped, resulting in fractures to both ankles. The bones above his ankles were described as splintered, causing severe swelling to the size of softballs. His femur, during one escape attempt, Joe Clark caught Phillips and forced his right leg backward, fracturing his thigh bone, and the injury was particularly severe, with the thigh swelling to the size of a basketball.
Good Lord.
Joe Clark broke both of his shins and knees, with one kneecap reportedly twisted around to the back of his leg, indicating extreme dislocation and possible fracture. And Phillips' legs were broken in at least 4 places, with some sources describing the injuries as comparable to those sustained in serious car accidents. Now, this Joe Clark, he manipulated Thad's legs in a way that caused severe dislocation, particularly in the ankles and knees. The skin on his legs were described as a rubber-like, indicating extreme trauma to the soft tissues and ligaments. His toes were actually pointed in an unnatural direction due to the repeated twisting and breaking, suggesting damage to the joints and connective tissue in his feet. He had internal bleeding. The extensive trauma to Thad's legs caused significant internal bleeding, which was life-threatening, and the doctors at the hospital noted that he was just mere hours away from death due to the severity of the bleeding. And during Thad's escape attempts, he was throwing himself down the stairs multiple times. He was getting injuries from that. In one instance, he passed out from the pain and exhaustion after tumbling down the stairs head first, causing an additional bruising and trauma to his body. And this Joe Clark also jumped on his chest and hit him repeatedly in one escaped attempt, potentially causing further bruising and internal injuries to his torso and chest. Man, and Thad, he was deprived of food and water for the duration of 43 hours, compounding the physical toll of his injuries with dehydration and malnutrition. And this lack of sustenance likely worsened his ability to cope with pain and physical stress. But on top of that, the psychological trauma of the ordeal included being locked in the closet, enduring Joe Clark's erratic behavior, alternating between torture and being his friend, added to the overall impact on Thad's condition. So, man, this kid, he went through so much, and all these surgeries, multiple surgeries to repair the damage to his legs.
Yeah, so much, so much for all the physical, torture. Just think about the mental torture. It's still got to be lingering, man.
Yeah.
So basically, he got torture in a movie and a sex show for 43 hours.
Yeah. But Joe Clark's attacks were driven by a sadistic fascination with the sound of breaking bones, which he admitted to Thad during the ordeal, and he deliberately targeted Thad's legs, twisting and breaking them repeatedly to satisfy this obsession.
I think I saw on one interview that Thad asked him why didn't he break his own legs, and he said he had tried, he couldn't get the right angle to do it.
To break his own legs?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
If he liked the sound of it so much. Now, whether he's just said that to
appease him
or not,
yeah,
because they don't usually hurt themselves.
Very true.
As if we weren't hurting enough.
Yeah, this is rough, man. This Thad, I've saw interviews with him just recently, and he's a tough kid.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Kudos to him.
He saved himself, and then whoever would have been next.
Yeah, because there was many names on these lists he had.
The Chris Steiner, he was from the same neighborhood. And I think actually all 29 names that was on that list was right there in that same area, that neighborhood.
And the way he had them categorized was some of them, he was thinking they were bullies.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that or if he just made that up.
He could have made it up, but that was,
like the bully's going to take out a bully.
That's what
I know that's
Joe
what
Clark was saying.
Yeah, I know that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be the hero.
But he's in prison. He's never getting out. He's done.
Still too good for him.
Yeah. But I think Thad Phillips, he still lives in the Baraboo, Wisconsin area. Yeah. I wish him well, man.
All the best, brother.
Yeah, he didn't get any of that $21 million, but there was a GoFundMe set up for him, and they've raised several $1,000s for him.
Well, he needs all he can get.
Yeah, to help him with his,
He's got a family of his own now.
He does, yeah.
So.
Yeah, this kid's he's amazing, no doubt.
I'd love to talk to him sometime.
Yeah. All right, Dale, that is the story of the Bonebreaker. It's rough.
Real rough.
All right, we're going to get out of here, bud.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Just please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.